Happy Saturday, foodie friends, grain-free VIPs. Welcome to today's Slice of the Grain-Free Lifestyle episode. My name is Nina Blake. I'm the Grain-Free Lifestyle Coach, and I help families pack their menus with flavor and variety while avoiding grains and allergens so that they can enjoy meals together again and live their best lives. Hey, happy Saturday! So, if you are coming on and you're here live with me now, thank you for being here with me. Could you please say hello or drop an emoji in the chat, and that way I can make sure to thank you. And if you are catching the replay later, would you please just give a comment in the chat or give a like and a share? I would really appreciate that because it helps me reach more people who need these recipes, need these awesome services, and it's how we grow. So thank you for being here with me. So today's topic is how to get grain-free, allergy-friendly food to taste normal. I love that you are up to this challenge because one of the most common myths that people believe is that grain-free, allergy-friendly food has to look weird or taste weird, and it doesn't. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about 3 ways that you can get your grain-free, allergy-friendly food to have the appearance and flavor of normal food. Okay, are you ready? Let's go over it. The first thing I want you to do right now, and if you're watching this on replay, pause it. If you're watching this live with me, you can go back and do this later. But you're gonna list the flavors you love and then the flavors you absolutely want to avoid. Doesn't mean we're not gonna use those foods and ingredients, but we'll get to that, okay? Then you're gonna learn to mask the flavors that you dislike. Wouldn't that be great? If you had to use an ingredient, but you could make a food taste like it wasn't made with that ingredient, what a dream! And last but not least, I know we're talking about appearance and flavor, but we're also going to talk about texture. Modifying the texture affects the flavor, believe it or not, because the way something feels in our mouth also contributes to the flavor. And we're really gonna talk about it, I promise. So, but I wanna go over my list with you. Before I came on live, I said, it's been a while since I did this. What are my flavors? Well, thankfully, I have more flavors that I love. And so my flavors that I absolutely love are all fruits that are safe to me, I love. Okay? I can't have apples, I can't have bananas, I can't have blueberries, I have to limit my strawberries, I have to limit my raspberries, but peaches, grapes, love those, right? Other flavors that I absolutely adore: garlic, parsley, all fresh herbs, lemon, vanilla, chocolate, tomato. I eat a lot of chicken and I'm okay with it. I do like sweet marinades for my chicken. And then anything creamy, because dairy is off the menu for me. I absolutely love creamy flavor and texture whenever I can get it. My maybe flavors, I added in a category. Sometimes I love them, sometimes I'm like, no. Pepper, coconut, something that's spicy, I can take it, I can leave it. And then chickpea. And if you are someone who dislikes chickpea, please know I have solutions and I have options for you. I do not care for it either. I've recently been able to get chickpea out of my menu completely. And I've still got breads and I've still got cakes. Well, I'm working on a cake. I've got pie crust. I've got cookie bars. One thing at a time. I made pasta a couple months ago. It's all coming little by little, but my husband is now lectin intolerant. So chickpea is a maybe for me. It's an absolute no for him. And then the flavors that I absolutely will not tolerate. I will not tolerate food that is too greasy. I will not tolerate food that is too sweet. Burnt, nope, not for me. Some people call it charred, and some people actually like cookies with that little bit of black around the edge. No, that is not something I will eat. Okay? And maybe I'm the only one, but there's a particular texture of cake. It's a fluffy cake, like an angel food or those little snowballs that we used to get at the gas station as kids. Nope, don't like it. It's too fluffy. It's too many calories, not enough flavor. It feels like I'm chomping on a sponge, right? We all have the foods that we like and we dislike. So really quickly, these are mine. Now, why does that matter? Well, because when I plan my menu, I'm going to obviously stick with flavors that I love. And for the foods that are maybes for me, I'm going to learn to mask those flavors. Ready for some examples? If you have ever made my chocolate chip cookies, they are phenomenal. They are one of the first chocolate chip cookie recipes. Well, they're one of the first recipes that I actually ever brought to parties because they look like cookies, they taste like cookies, they are delicious. Okay, even the grain lovers would say, get me that recipe. And of course, that's one of the reasons why I started my food blog. So you can find that recipe in my first cookbook, 7 Simple Grain-Free Recipes. If you don't have that yet, please put cookbook in the comments. Now, masking flavors is a big gap, okay? There's so many flavors we could mask. So today we're gonna look at the flavor of coconut and chickpea. And we're gonna step back and we're going to talk about how I make those two flavors work together in my first flour blend. That recipe is also available in my cookbook, 7 Simple Grain-Free Recipes. If you don't have it, please put cookbook in the comments and I will make sure you get a copy at no cost to you. So, coconut, it's good flavor, but to have it in everything you eat, you get tired of it. Chickpea is a pungent flavor, but masking those flavors, pungent and sweet, cancel each other out somewhat, not completely. Now, in that flour blend, it uses 2 parts tapioca, 2 parts chickpea, and 1 part coconut. If the chickpea in that flour blend is too much for you, you can do actually what I did. And you're like, Nina, what do you mean what you did? Well, the first 5 years of using that flour blend, I only used 1 part chickpea. So feel free to use any recipes that use that OG flour blend with 1 part chickpea, 1 part coconut, and 2 parts tapioca. So, and please, like, keep tuning in live with me because I always share amazing nuggets with you. And I'm so glad you're here with me. So we're gonna talk about masking flavor, right? We talked about kind of making flavors cancel each other out, which is great. If you are somebody who says, Nina, I have to avoid almond, I have to avoid grains, the only milk I can have is coconut, I am in that boat with you. Now, there are things we can do to make coconut not taste like coconut. And in my program, Grain-Free Fast Track, we really go through how to neutralize those flavors. And there's more in my cooking class library for Platinum VIPs. So if you'd like to learn more about neutralizing flavors like coconut or chickpea, you can hop on a call together and explore that opportunity. So, masking flavors, right? Now, in the chocolate chip cookies, you got chickpea, you got coconut. They're only gonna cancel each other out so much. So what do? Vanilla. Vanilla is normally in cookies, right? No one is going to say that a cookie that has a little extra vanilla is out of place. So if you're kind of struggling with the flavor, add a little bit more organic vanilla flavoring there. It's amazing how just an extra little half teaspoon really goes a long way. Now, you're like, thank you very much. I will definitely do that. But what happens when I'm trying to make a cheese? I hear you. And you can ask my VIPs. They can't stop talking about my cheddar and my mozzarella because not only do you not have to shred it or set it, but it tastes like dairy. It looks like dairy. You literally just pour it on your pizza and you don't know it's made from coconut because of the techniques that I teach to neutralize the flavor of coconut. So we've talked about canceling out chickpea with coconut, right? Canceling those out, and so that'll decrease it. We've talked about using vanilla to kind of tone those down even more, right? Now we're gonna talk about changing and modifying texture. Can I show you guys something? Can I show you something new? I told you that I have had to avoid chickpea in my house. Not me, but in my house, because my husband has lectin intolerance. Can't tolerate any chickpea, and it's really, really frustrating for both of us. Now, one of the ways that I mask the flavor of fish when I cook fish is with mayonnaise, and I was doing great with my original mayonnaise. It has chickpea. Can't do that anymore. So check this out. This is a lectin-free mayo. No gluten, no grain, no dairy, no egg, no soy, no corn, no almond, no cashew, no peanut, no sesame, no nightshade, no lectin. And I used it on fish last night, and it looks like mayo, it acts like mayo, it's even really nasty, clumpy. Look, watch. Like mayo. Pretty cool. And it doesn't taste bad either. So we have these options. If I can do it, you can do it too. And if you need support, I will absolutely walk you through that. So why don't we hop on a call? Rose, my amazing VA, has put the link in our chat. So schedule your consult and we'll talk about how I can support you with masking the flavors so that you can eat like normal again. All right, we need to talk about changing and modifying texture. Because if something, let's just say, for example, this is an old recipe that kind of was circulating around the grain-free circuit. Ooh. All right, I am going to turn off my bread. I have a loaf of my English muffin bread in the oven. It's still hot, but the oven is off, so I'll show it to you before we sign off. But we're talking about texture. Okay, totally lost my train of thought. So things have to feel right in our mouth, and they have to look right. One of the early grain-free recipes that like swept the internet was the date brownie. Sounds good, right? Who doesn't want to avoid grains and bring brownies back to their table? Who doesn't? So those were made, and many of you might still be making them. Those were made with ground nuts and dates. Awesome. Now, you have to grind the nuts for a certain amount of time, because when you grind the nuts, you basically create a flour, and then the dates make the nuts stick together and give them that nice fudgy, what? Texture. Okay? So, if you don't grind the nuts enough, what will happen is you'll get a grittiness. And that grittiness tells your tongue and your brain that you are eating sand instead of a brownie. And all of a sudden, the chocolatiness might be there, but you're not going to finish that brownie. And I'm only speaking about the mistakes that I made myself, because I tried it, I did it. Texture matters. It does. You'll say, no, it tastes yucky, especially the little kiddos. They're like texture radar. They'll say, no, it tastes funny. And you're like, it tastes fine, I use all the ingredients, but it's the texture that they're referring to. So how are you going to modify texture? Well, we can modify texture in a couple of different ways. Let's see. Since I am making crispy chicken meatballs for dinner tonight, I've got my grain-free breadcrumbs out and thawing. And this is how I store them. These are the ends of my bread that are frozen, right? And so when I run out of crumbs, I just take the ends, throw them in the food processor. So while the crispy chicken meatballs are baking tonight, I will be grinding the ends of the bread. So, breadcrumbs. I really should have a bowl. All right, the crumbs are not all thawed yet, but let's just take, okay. So, changing the texture, I use my food processor. And I'm gonna throw these out so it's okay if I touch them. Now, the food processor doesn't get the crumbs like they would come from the jar, but that's okay. If you wanted coarser crumbs, you would run your food processor less. Same thing as you would with the texture of the brownies, right? Makes sense. I'm just gonna give you a quick little close up so you can see the nice texture of these breadcrumbs. There's no gluten, no grain, no dairy, no egg, no soy, no corn, no almond, no cashew, no peanut, no sesame, no nightshade, no lectin, and no yeast in these. And I'll give you another behind the scenes tip. One of the ways you know I'm testing a bread is when I have a lot of breadcrumbs, because I refuse to discard good food. So those failed bread recipes, they either become lazy French toast or they become breadcrumbs, because I'm not going to waste, right? Especially when, like, I'm gonna need breadcrumbs anyway. And sometimes I will give away breadcrumbs, but they're not going to go to waste. All right, so texture. Now, I can give you a really great example. I'm just gonna pour these out. These are chia seeds. Chia seeds, of course, have lectin, which is why we haven't used them in our house in months. I'm told that there is a substitute, but I haven't tried it yet. So, now you know chia seeds, when you put them in water, they expand, right? And they form that great gel. Well, that's wonderful, but when you chew on chia seeds and you eat that chia pudding or you put chia on fruit, it gets stuck in your teeth. Well, we can learn to modify the texture. Now, you saw the chia seeds, right? But this is chia meal. You can buy it already ground, or you can just grind it in your blender or your high-powered coffee grinder, right? Okay, and so here it is. When it's ground and you use chia meal in place of chia seeds, all of a sudden, if you've made my chia bread, you do not know there are chia seeds in that bread, because the texture is phenomenal. And these are just 3 simple ways. I keep a list of the techniques that I use to help my cooking look normal, taste normal, and be as craveable so that I don't feel like I'm missing out. And at my last count, I had almost 40 techniques that I use. And so if you are looking to learn even more of those techniques, I will walk you through the process. So why don't we hop on a call and I can share my insider VIP recipes with you and help you level up your grain-free lifestyle. Now, I told you I was going to show you the bread. This is fresh out of the oven, so I need to get a trivet and I need to get some oven mitts. Okay. Do, 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 do. All right. Here we go. Turn the lights off. So, obviously I cannot slice this because it just came out of the oven, but I think I'm gonna keep the oven mitts. I'm gonna scooch it closer. No, no. Apparently I haven't mastered this camera thing, but that's okay. So I'm gonna bring it closer to me so you can see it better. I'll put the oven mitts on. And so this is my lectin-free bread. VIPs, I am still testing this because I want to get it taller for you. It's about 3.5 inches tall, but I think we can do more. So I will let you know how this test goes. But if I can do this, I know that you have what it takes to add the appearance, flavor, and texture of normal foods back to your table. Now, what kind of normal foods could you add back to your table? Let's think. How about chicken cheddar broccoli bake? Doesn't that sound good with a nice crumbly topping with those grain-free breadcrumbs? Other foods like chicken taco casserole, or how about waffles, pancakes, right? How about crispy chicken meatballs? I want you to have those amazing recipes. And so I can't wait to see you on our call. I love you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. The possibilities are endless when you break a recipe.